For centuries, experts believed the Maya mysteriously vanished, but the real story is far more terrifying than anyone expected. Recent scientific evidence now reveals a shocking truth. A sudden 13-year mega-drought, the kind no ancient civilization could survive, struck at the very peak of Maya power. Temples were still rising, calendars still turning, and cities still glowing with life, when the sky simply stopped giving rain. But here's the part no one tells you. The Maya actually predicted many natural cycles with stunning accuracy, except this one. And when their reservoirs dried, their crops failed, and their sacred cenotes turned to dust, everything collapsed with unbelievable speed. Today, scientists are uncovering clues hidden in caves, lakes, and ruins, proving that the fall of the Maya wasn't a mystery, it was a catastrophe. This is the shocking truth behind the Maya civilization's collapse. Let's begin. For centuries, the Maya civilization stood as one of the greatest powers in the ancient world. They built massive cities out of stone, developed one of the most accurate calendars ever made, and mastered mathematics, architecture, and astronomy long before Europe even entered the Middle Ages. Their cities, like Tikal, Palenque, and Calakmul, were filled with towering pyramids, intricate temples, and sprawling urban centers connected by complex road networks. But behind the glory, there was a hidden problem. The Maya world depended almost entirely on seasonal rainfall. Unlike Egypt, they didn't have a massive river like the Nile to rely on. Instead, they built giant reservoirs, stored rainwater, and depended on predictable wet seasons. If the rains failed, everything failed with them. For generations, their system worked. Cities flourished, kings ruled, and power shifted from dynasty to dynasty. But deep beneath the ground, in caves and lakes, a silent countdown had already begun, recording the slow approach of a climate disaster the Maya were completely unprepared for. And when it finally struck, it changed the course of history forever. Modern scientists studying stalagmites inside ancient caves and sediments at the bottom of Maya lakes uncovered something shocking. Around the 9th century, rainfall in key Maya regions didn't just decrease, it collapsed. Evidence shows that the Maya were hit by a 13-year mega-drought, where rainfall dropped by 40 to 70%. This wasn't a normal dry spell. This was a devastating climate shift that wiped out water sources faster than the Maya could adapt. Rivers shrank into cracked riverbeds, reservoirs dropped to mud, wells dried up. Without water, everything the Maya built began to crumble. Their famous terraced farms turned to dust. Their crops, primarily maize, failed repeatedly. Entire communities faced starvation, and with no rain to refill their water systems, cities that once held tens of thousands of people became unlivable. The most tragic part? The Maya had no scientific way of predicting long-term climate patterns. To them, the skies simply betrayed them. The drought didn't just weaken their civilization, it triggered a chain reaction that would push kingdoms into war, cause mass migrations, and break the backbone of their empire. As water disappeared, cities that once cooperated turned into rivals fighting for survival. Archaeological evidence shows an increase in fortifications, burnt structures, and abrupt shifts in political power. Kings began losing the confidence of their people because the Maya believed rulers were chosen by the gods to maintain cosmic balance. When the rain stopped, the people believed their kings had failed them. Chaos followed. Large capitals like Tikal, Copan, and Karakol began to empty out. People fled to regions with more reliable water sources, triggering mass migration across the Maya world. Trade routes collapsed. Art, writing, and scientific progress slowed. Inscriptions from this period become fewer and fewer, a sign that scribes, artists, and astronomers had abandoned their posts or died. The great Maya cities didn't fall in dramatic battles. They were simply abandoned. One by one, they were swallowed by the jungle. And as the drought continued year after year, the Maya civilization fractured into isolated pockets of survivors, each fighting its own desperate battle against time, hunger, and the unforgiving climate. By the time the drought ended, the damage was irreversible. The great Maya capitals were empty, their stone pyramids overgrown by thick jungle vines. The people who survived moved into smaller communities and coastal regions where water was more stable. But the final truth is chilling. The Maya were destroyed by a 13-year climate event they had no technology to predict or defend against. Their collapse wasn't a mystery, and it wasn't supernatural. It was a natural disaster, a drought strong enough to break one of the most advanced civilizations on Earth. But here's the real shock. Modern scientists warn that the same kind of multi-year droughts are becoming increasingly common today. If a drought could wipe out a civilization as powerful and brilliant as the Maya, what would it do to ours? With billions of people, massive cities, and a global system that relies on predictable climate patterns. The collapse of the Maya isn't just history. It's a warning, one written in stone, abandoned cities, and the silent records of caves that watched a civilization fall. The Maya didn't simply disappear. They were overwhelmed by a disaster they never saw coming. A 13-year drought that reshaped history. And what remains today are warnings carved into stone. Warnings that scientists believe could apply to our world right now. If you found this eye-opening, get ready. The next video dives into more ancient mysteries that turned out to be true. Tap subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's uncover the past, one hidden truth at a time.